Okay, you guys are gonna want to buckle down for this video. At least I need to buckle down because I'm so excited. I can't even contain myself, and I didn't even do my normal intro, and I don't care at this point because today's video is so exciting, you guys. I cannot believe this. Let's just get to it, okay? A while back, Colourpop reached out to me and wanted me to create a bundle of my favorite Colourpop products. You guys, Colourpop. We all love Colourpop. You guys know how much I love Colourpop. I couldn't believe it. I have been so excited for this for so long, and I am thrilled to tell you that I have a bundle with Colourpop. I chose and curated my favorites. It's gonna be available to you at a discounted price. Today is a good day, folks. Don't worry, I'm gonna tell you everything that I chose. I'm gonna explain to you exactly why I chose everything. I will also be doing a tutorial using the products in just a little bit. Let's not waste any time at all. I'm just gonna jump right into it. So basically, I chose 5 of my favorite products to create my own personal bundle, and I chose the name, I chose the vibe. I hope you guys love this as much as I do. Starting today, you guys, it launches today, right now as we speak, it has launched. You will be able to pick up my personal bundle, which is called the Naturally Glam Bundle. Here's a sneak peek at what your orders will look like. It will come with this darling little PR card. Guys, I designed this with Colourpop. I told them the vibe. We created this together, this little card. So it says Naturally Glam on it, and then on the back, that's me. Guys, my face is on the back of a Colourpop PR card. Can you even believe it? I certainly can't. Clearly, I'm thrilled about this. So if you pick up my bundle, you'll get a little greeting from yours truly and a little note from me. I called this bundle Naturally Glam because I feel like it really embodies what I preach and teach here on my channel, which is both everyday wearable natural makeup, but also glamorous makeup. I'm obsessed with wearing a lot of makeup, but when I do, I like to do it in more of a natural way. I always want to make sure I'm teaching you guys techniques that I personally use to be able to achieve a glam look and make it look like it's a part of you, if that makes sense, that it's not overtaking your face, that it's blended in perfectly. And so that was the whole concept and vibe behind this bundle. Okay, so here's a sneak peek at the 5 products that I chose. I will go one by one and share with you guys exactly what I chose, why I picked it, and some of the products. If you're familiar with my videos, it will be a no-brainer as to why I chose them for this bundle. Again, I'm wearing everything on my face. We're gonna do a little overview, a little summary, if you will, at the beginning. And then as I do the tutorial later on, I will explain to you in depth a little bit more about each of these products. The first thing that really set the tone for the whole bundle is this palette right here. This is the That's Taupe palette. It is, to this day, my favorite Colourpop eyeshadow palette. It's the best one they've ever created. I might be a little biased when I'm saying that, and obviously that has to do with my personal aesthetic and taste, but truly, Colourpop really created something special when they created this palette. So I knew I wanted to incorporate it into my Naturally Glam bundle because it's rare for me to find palettes that I dip into every single shade. That's the case with this one. I literally use every single shade in this palette. I also chose this palette because it's something that you can take from day to night. That's kind of a theme behind this entire bundle, as I will explain to you in a little bit. It's no secret though how much I love this palette. It is my favorite one from Colourpop. I'm wearing it all over the eyes. You really can't go wrong. You can do something super simple and everyday with the mattes. You can amp it up like I'm gonna show you guys later in the tutorial. It is amazing. So that is kind of the star of the show, I would say, in this bundle. Very exciting. The next product that I chose is obviously also another favorite of mine when it comes to Colourpop products, but I also wanted to choose this because I felt like this product is super underrated, and I wanted to choose something that if you did pick up the bundle, it would hopefully add to your collection, and I'd be able to share with you guys why I love it, and hopefully it will stick into your routine the way it has mine. So the second product is this right here, the Colourpop Volumizing Mascara, but here's the situation. This is the shade Brownie Points, which is a brown mascara. I'll show you right here, and you will also see this in action in my tutorial. A brown mascara is so underrated in my opinion because if you're wanting to wear mascara on just like a no makeup day, a brown mascara is a really great item to have in your makeup collection because you can add that definition to your lashes without it looking too overdone. This is a pretty dark brown mascara though, so you're still gonna get gorgeous definition. I'm wearing the mascara on my lashes, both top and bottom today. I also love to include include this in more glamorous looks on just the lower lash line if I'm looking to soften the lower lash line, but I want to keep that drama of a black mascara on the top. I will also do that. So I wanted to include this. Also, the formula is incredible on this one. I have talked about this so many times over the years on my YouTube channel. It's been a favorite of mine for a long time. So I knew I wanted to include that in the bundle, and I feel like these two actually pair beautifully together. The next product that I picked is another must-have for me when creating an eye look, and I really wanted this bundle to be a little more eye focused because I wanted you guys to have the products that I personally use to create an eye look for any occasion. And I wanted them to be foolproof, so even if you're a beginner in makeup, you will still feel comfortable using a palette like this. If you're more advanced, you will also appreciate a palette like this when it comes to just those go-to everyday type looks. I also find that all these products are universally flattering in the tone and the undertone, so the next product that I chose to complete the eye look is this right here, which I believe is the product out of the bundle that I have used for the longest, probably because this launched earlier than the rest of these products, but this has been in my life for a long time. This is the Colourpop BFF Cream Gel Liner in the shade Honey Dude. If you've never tried a more nude kind of liner for the waterline, that's how I personally use them, this is your chance. It is such an incredible formula. It's very long lasting, but I love that it's a little bit more of a neutral beigey tone because you're able to get that clean, precise, bright eye look in an everyday look or a glam look using this pencil, but it's not going to be as stark or as bright as a white liner. It looks way more natural, as if it could be the natural color of your waterline and your eyes just look naturally awake, you know? So that's the third product. I'm obsessed with that. The fourth product I chose is one that lives in my purse. I am not joking, you guys. I love this so much. It's the Colourpop So Juicy Lip Gloss in the shade She's Here. This is such a great everyday warm toned pink that literally goes with any look. I will talk more in depth about this in the tutorial, but just know that I love this. It is a plumping gloss, but it's not like a painful plumping gloss. It's a really nice cooling texture, and it just makes your lips look literally so juicy. I think the name is perfect for this. This shade, you can't go wrong. Again, this stays in my purse because I find that I can just slap it on the lips on days where I'm not wearing that much makeup at all, and it just kind of freshens up my entire look, or it makes a great companion over top of lip liner and lipstick when you're doing a more glamorous look like this one. So I will show you guys how I apply this exactly in the tutorial, but that's the fourth product. Last but not least, you guys, I feel like actually maybe this was one of the products that I knew for sure was going to be in the bundle. I knew the eyeshadow palette and this next product because if you forced me on a Colourpop desert island to choose only two Colourpop products, it would be the That's Taupe eyeshadow palette and this right here. This is the Colourpop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist. If you have watched my videos, you have seen this in my videos. It's just one of those products that has really stuck into my routine for a long time. This is one of the best setting sprays in my collection, high-end and drugstore included. I am obsessed with this. So the fifth and last product in the bundle is this right here. The reason why I wanted to incorporate it is not only it's my favorite setting spray, honestly, but also when it comes to that naturally glam type of a look, setting spray is key. And I also feel like this is another underrated product in a lot of people's routines. A setting spray will really help rehydrate the skin if you've used a foundation or concealer or any sort of powder. It just refreshes and brings life to the skin while also taking away the top layer of powders or makeup so that I shouldn't say take away, but it like melts it down. You know what I'm trying to say. It makes everything look more skin-like. It is the secret to making all of my complexion products, because I wear a lot when I'm doing glam looks, I'm not afraid to say that, but I like when I go a little extra with my makeup, I still want it to look like my skin. And this is my secret to that. So I wanted to incorporate that in the bundle as well, because going along with the everyday to evening type of an idea behind this bundle, this is an amazing pick-me-up throughout the day. And it also makes an incredible smoothing setting spray at the end of your more glam looks. And also, if you're wondering, my other favorite part about this is, oh my gosh, the smell first of all, but also how fine the mist is. This is the travel size version, but don't worry, I have tested it and I verified with Colourpop. It is the same applicator on the top, so you're gonna get that gorgeous fine mist. It won't spit at you. It'll give you the most even, hydrated, incredible juicy complexion. I feel like I'm dreaming right now as I'm filming this because I cannot believe that this is actually happening, but it is, and I am so excited. You guys, my bundle is available right now on colourpop.com. I will have it linked down below. These 5 products will retail for $39.60. That is already discounted. The retail price is $44 US. The bundle will only be available for a limited time. I seriously cannot wait for you guys to try out my personal Colourpop favorites. I can't wait to see the makeup looks that you create with these. I'm thrilled about this bundle. I stand behind these 5 products like nothing else. I love them all. I truly hope you guys love them as much as I do. Again, codes will not work on the bundle itself because it's already discounted, but feel free to use a code on any additional items that you put in your cart. You guys, my heart is just so full right now. I am so thankful for this opportunity. Thank you to Colourpop for giving me this opportunity, and of course, thank you to you guys. Colourpop would not ever know who I am in the first place if it weren't for every single one of you. So I truly have to give credit to you guys for giving me this opportunity to create a favorites bundle with Colourpop. Like, I still can't get over this PR card with my face on it, honestly. I don't think I'll ever be able to grasp that. So yeah, any additional information will be in the description box down below. I wouldn't just make a video just talking about the products without telling you how to use them. So next, let me show you how I personally incorporate them into my makeup routine and also how I create this look. I almost said in the next slide like it was an Instagram story, but the tutorial for this look is up next. Enjoy. Okay, so let's get into the tutorial. I'm gonna start off with the eyes. I'm going to prep the eyes with my NARS Tinted Smudge Proof Eyeshadow Base in the shade Light. I already did my brows off camera and I used the Thrive Cosmetics brow pencil. Okay, I'm just blending out that primer from the lash line all the way up to the brow bone. All right, so we're gonna dip into the That's Taupe eyeshadow palette, and I love this palette so much, you guys. That's no secret. I'm gonna start off with this shade right here called Boa, which is literally the perfect transition shade. And I'm just gonna start building this up in the crease and a little bit above toward the brow as my transition shade. I literally dip into this every single time I use this palette. It's such a foolproof way to start any look with this palette. I really do feel like you can take this palette from day to night if you want to. That's one of the reasons why I chose this in the bundle, and I mean, it was an easy choice because this is truly my favorite eyeshadow palette that Colourpop has released so far. I don't think I've ever created a look with this palette that I didn't love. That's how reliable it is to me. I am just obsessed with it. I'm just continuing to buff and blend this color toward the end of the brow. Next up, we're gonna take this shade right here, which is called Python. I love this one too. I'm just gonna start deepening things up on this outer portion and into the crease a little bit. Another thing I really love about this palette, even though it's advertised as like a cool toned palette, I don't think it's super cool toned to the point where everything looks super gray on the eyes. I think it's just right. I actually feel like a lot of the shades lean a little more neutral than they do cool. So that's why I feel like it's so flattering. I personally enjoy using both warm tones and cool tones on the eyes, but I feel like this is right in the middle. I mean, yes, it does lean a little more cool toned, but this shade, for example, isn't that cool toned, and neither is this one. It's much more of a neutral. So if you're afraid of the word cool toned, I wouldn't be when it comes to this palette. It's actually really, really flattering. And yeah, I feel like most shades come off more neutral than they do an actual super, super cool tone. So here we go, just building this up. I love what this does in the crease. I really feel like this shade, because it does lean a little more cool, it creates that contoured kind of effect in the crease, which I absolutely love. Same thing on this eye. Look how well those two colors blended together. I'm obsessed with those two. I really do start almost every single look just like this because no matter what direction you go in, you have a really nice base. So now you can choose a shimmer. So all 3 of these shimmers are stunning. We have Cold Blooded, Snake Eyes, and then this one down here is called Constrictor. I think I'm gonna dip into this one to really show you how glam you can go with this palette. But of course, if you're following along, you can choose any of those 2 shimmers, whatever you're feeling like. So I'm just gonna dip my finger into this pan. I always like to apply all of my shimmer shadows using my finger. I just find that I get the best payoff that way. I'm gonna start by applying this close to the lash line. And then once there's a little bit less on the finger, I'm just gonna pat this up toward the crease. Isn't that such a pretty shade? Sometimes when I apply shimmer with my fingertips, it gets into this inner corner here, which is normally not a big deal, but since this shade is slightly darker, I'm just gonna take the fluffy brush we used with our transition shade and just kind of buff that out. Plus, we're gonna be layering the Super Shock shadow on top, so it doesn't have to be perfect. All right, I'm gonna apply that same shade to the other eye. I love this color. It's like a dirty bronze shade is what I would describe it as. It almost has a hint of green in it. It's so pretty. I think it's such a wearable shade for when you want to do a more bold, glamorous, smoky eye. It's not too dark to where it's intimidating, or if you're a beginner, you won't be able to figure it out. Like, it's such a good shade, whether you're an expert at makeup or a beginner. And again, that was kind of the whole idea behind this bundle. I wanted anyone to be able to use it. And I really feel like even though the shade is the darkest shimmer shade, it's still very, very wearable and flattering in my opinion too. This would look good on every eye color as well. Okay, the edges are blended. I'm not concerned about fallout right now. I always do my eyes first if I know I'm gonna be doing more of an eye focused look like this one. That way I can just blend and buff and not worry about things falling down. We can always clean it up with a makeup wipe later anyway. Next up, I'm gonna dip into the deepest matte shade in the palette right here. This is called Bedrock. I'm gonna tap off the excess, and this is where I'm gonna start adding that bit more definition up against the lash line on this outer portion. I'm using more pressing motions to really just kind of pack the product into the lash line right here. Once there's a little less on the brush, I am gonna take it into that outer V a bit as well, just to create even more depth and dimension on the outer corner. I'm gently taking the brush we used with the transition shade and going over the edges on that outer corner just to make sure it's super blended outward. See how nicely that blended out toward the brow? That's what I'm trying to achieve, so that all the dark colors blend into the transition shades, which blend into the shimmer shades on the lid. I just want everything to look really seamless. I feel like that's the key when you are creating an eyeshadow look, even if it's a little more bold like this one. If you're wanting it to come across as more of a natural type of look, even though natural is not always the word to use, but it's really the only word I can think of to describe the overall effect that I personally lean toward when it comes to any sort of eyeshadow look, and that's just something that's really wearable, something that looks like it's a part of you to where you're wearing the eyeshadow and it's not wearing you, and I feel like blending is really key in that. Let's move on to my other favorite shade. I feel like they're all my favorite shades, but this one really makes the palette super magical in my opinion. This is a Super Shock Shadow formula. If you're not familiar with Super Shock Shadow formulas from Colourpop, it's magical. It feels very cushiony and marshmallowy. It's just a really, really beautiful formula. I love how this one in particular has glitter suspended in it, so it's gonna act like a glitter topper without actual flecks of intense glitter, if that makes sense. I'll just show you. That's the best way to show you guys how this looks. So again, I'm just gonna go in with my finger for this, and you'll notice it has a completely different texture than the rest of the palette. Here's what it looks like on the fingertips, so you can see the iridescence. I'm just gonna take that and apply this on the inner third of the eyelid. And this time I'm using more of pressing motions because I do want it to act as more of a glitter topper than an all over lid shade, so I'm kind of trying to purposefully distribute the glitter all over the eyes. And you can build this up as much as you want to achieve your desired intensity. I usually go in a couple of times because I love a good glittery eye look, so that's what I'm gonna do, but feel free to just do one layer if that's what you wanna do. This looks gorgeous all over the lid alone. It looks gorgeous layered on top of another shimmer shade like I'm doing here. I mean, you could layer it over a matte if you wanted to. That's what I love about this formula in the palette, is just, again, it has a little bit more of that sheer base, so it pairs with every single other color in the palette. Okay, next I'm just gonna clean up the fallout under the eyes and kind of clean up the edges as well. And I always like to take my fingertips and just press down the edges if I do use a makeup wipe to clean things up. I just find that that helps it look more natural as well, and it helps later when you apply foundation and concealer and do the lower lash line. It helps it all look like it's meant to be there. All right, next we're going to apply the brown mascara that's in my bundle. Again, this is the Colourpop BFF Volumizing Mascara. I truly feel like this is an underrated product from Colourpop, but just in general, like, brown mascaras should be used more and talked about more. So I'm gonna share with you guys how I personally like to use them. Obviously, if I was doing more of an everyday look, this would be incredible on both the top and bottom lashes. If I'm doing more of a glamorous look, sometimes I'll like to pair a black mascara on the top lashes and then a brown mascara on the bottom just to soften the look a little bit. This is a deep enough brown to where you still get that definition, which is what I really love about it, but it's not nearly as harsh as a black mascara. So there's just certain times and certain looks where I feel like a brown mascara is very appropriate. For this look though, I am going to show you guys what this brown mascara looks like on the top and bottom lashes, which obviously you can do that as well. I personally love doing this. If I just want everything to look a little bit more diffused, you'll see as I apply it. I love this formula. It's foolproof. I have used this for years now. Not this one, but this formula. And it has honestly been a staple in my collection because of the color. I love this dark brown shade and it comes in handy more than you think it would. This is such a gorgeous volumizing formula, which if you guys are familiar with me and my personal taste in mascaras, I love a volumizing mascara. So I'm gonna really build this up, especially since I did a little bit more of a smoky eye. I wanna make sure that there still is that contrast of lashes in front. And you can see like it looks beautiful on the lashes. It could almost pass as a black mascara, but then you compare it next to a black mascara and you can definitely tell the difference. It's just one of those things that I feel like people don't know they need, you know? And I'm here to tell you that you need a brown mascara. And if you've never tried one, here you go. This is really one of the best formulas that I've tried. I'm picky with mascara. This really does wear well on me all day. I love how that builds. I'm gonna go ahead and apply the same mascara to the other eye and then we will move on to complexion. Okay, I've turned on my phone flashlight in hopes that you can maybe see the brown in this because I feel like in my studio lights, it's looking pretty dark, and I mean, it will give you that definition, but I wanted to show you that because in the sunlight, when the sunlight hits your eyes and it catches it, I feel like that's where you can really see the brown tones in the mascara. But yeah, it's so wearable. I absolutely love how things are looking. Let's move on to complexion. I'm gonna use the Fourth Ray Beauty Oat Face Milk as my primer today. This is not in the bundle. I will make sure to have the products that are not in my bundle listed because again, even though codes don't work on the bundle itself since it's already discounted, if you want to try out any of these other Colourpop products that I'm going to be using, codes will still work on those products. So if you want to save 10% on any additional products, you can use my code Allie and you'll get 10% off. We're gonna move on to foundation. I'm obsessed with this Colourpop Pretty Fresh foundation. This is no secret either. If I could have somehow put this in the bundle, I would have. But just know that it's an incredible foundation. I mean, if you watch my channel, you already know how much I love this. I personally mixed two shades. They sent me these two shades in PR when this foundation launched. They have so many different colors. You definitely don't have to mix colors like I do. But for some reason, the shade Light 40N and Fair 25W mixed equally creates the perfect match for me. So I'm just gonna keep using them this way. I literally mix the two on the back of my hand. I'm just gonna take a flat brush and start blending this out all over the complexion. Which, by the way, if you're wondering what makeup I was wearing in this, I mean, obviously you know I'm wearing the bundle in this picture, but I'm wearing literally all these products in that photo as well, and any other content that I created surrounding this bundle. These are the products that I'm wearing on my complexion, so just in case you were wondering, I was wearing all Colourpop. This foundation really is incredible. I love it. I do want to take my sponge and just take a little bit of what's left on the back of the hand and go over everything with my sponge just to make sure that things look nice and seamless. For concealer, I'm going to also use the Pretty Fresh concealer from Colourpop. I have mine in the shade Fair 20N. And I just applied it to the corner and then the outer corner as well. Since this is a little bit more of a glam look, I am going to apply a bit down the center of the face as well. And then I'm just gonna go over everything with my sponge to blend that out. Okay, I'm gonna quickly use a powder to set the under eyes. This is the Ciate Everyday Vacay powder. I'm gonna also bring that powder down along this T-zone a bit. So in the center of the forehead as well, even into the brows slightly. I don't know why, but I tend to get oily in my brows. So I like to dust a bit of powder there. And then to make sure that the bronzer and everything else sits on top of the skin nicely, I'm gonna take a bit of that same exact powder on a fluffier brush with a little bit less, and I'm just gonna press that into the cheek area too, just so that our bronzer blends out perfectly and so that we don't lose any coverage throughout the day. Because if I'm taking the time to do a more glam look, I definitely want it to last. And for me, this really helps with the longevity. I always gently go over everything with my sponge, really, really softly, not dragging, just pressing to make sure that the powder is nice and locked into the foundation. Okay, let's move on to the next product in my bundle. This is the Colourpop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Honey Dude. This is one of my first Colourpop products that I ever tried. I feel like I've been using this for a long, long time now. I love using this in the waterline. Whether I'm doing an everyday look or something like this, a little more glam, I find that it really cleans up the eye look, brightens up the eyes, makes me look more awake. A nude pencil like this is also an essential to me, so I had to include it in this bundle. And this formula specifically from Colourpop is so good. It lasts such a long time in the waterline. So I'm going to go ahead and line my waterline with this. And I like to line the waterline first because when I do the lower lash line in a minute, I will be able to really add back the definition on the lower lash line and it'll just make things look more crisp because sometimes, like you can see right here, a little bit of the eyeliner can get in the lashes, so I prefer to do it first so that I can go in with mascara and make sure that the lashes are fully coated and still get that bright look. I'm just gonna stare at you for a second so you can see the difference. See how much more clean and bright and even wider my eye appears to be? That's why I love doing this, especially when you're working with a smoky eye, because sometimes smoky eyes can tend to make your eyes look smaller. If you're going for that effect, then great. If you really want to kind of make it super sultry, then everything really nice and tight, then you can use a darker liner in the waterline and even up here, and that'll really help intensify the lash line. If you're going for a more natural approach like this, a nude eyeliner like this really helps keep that eye looking nice and refreshed and wide while still getting the effect of a smoky eye. I also like this one too because I find that it looks much more natural than a stark white pencil, which sometimes a lot of people use a white pencil in the waterline to brighten up the eyes. And you know, I guess there's a time and place for that, but for me personally, I really like that this one is more of that creamy beige color, so even though it doesn't match the white of your eyes, it brightens in a much more natural way because of the color. It almost looks like it could be the color of my waterline in a way. All right, we're gonna move back into eyes, so we're dipping into the That's Taupe palette, which is in my bundle, and we're gonna start with the shade Python, which is slightly deeper than the first shade that we used when we were doing the transition shade on the top lid, but I'm doing that on purpose because I feel like I can use that transition shade later to make sure that the shadows I've applied blend down into the under eye area. So I like to start with a slightly deeper shade. This one is perfect. I'm just gonna buff this across the lower lash line from inner corner to outer corner. I love this color so much. And you can kind of see what I was talking about now. When I apply this, now that the eyeliner is already on, it really, really helps to make everything look more clean and just super, super fresh. I'm gonna do the same thing on this eye. Next, I'm gonna dip into this shade right here called Cold Blooded. I like using this on the lower lash line with this particular look because I feel like it kind of resembles the constrictor shade that we have here mixed with the slated color. I think it's kind of like a good in-between. So this way I can finish up the lower lash line without actually layering those two shades because I don't really want glitter like I have from the Super Shock shadow along the lower lash line. So I feel like this is a great way to achieve that same color but not have actual glitter on the lower lash line. And that's just because I don't want that falling down underneath the eyes throughout the day. So I'm gonna take that and I'm going to spray it with a little bit of Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist. Don't worry, I will talk a lot about that in a second, but using a damp brush really helps. I'm just gonna go ahead and apply this to this inner corner to about halfway, maybe a little over halfway across the under eye. I feel like that looks so pretty. All right, now I'm gonna dip into Boa, which is the shade we used on the top lid as our transition. And I'm gonna kind of do the same thing to the lower lash line. I'm gonna tap off the excess, and I'm actually gonna pinch the brush and just lightly start to apply this along the lower lash line at the edge of where I applied those first two shadows. Once I feel like I have a good idea of placement, I did let go of the brush to just buff that out. And I'm wanting it to connect to that outer corner. Again, just to make sure everything looks super blended and seamless. That's my overall goal. Same thing on this eye. Next, I'm gonna take an angled brush and dip into that matte shade again called Bedrock. I'm gonna tap off the excess with this as well because I don't want too much fallout. And I'm gonna go really up tight against the lash line on the outer third. and just press this right between the lashes. I want to make sure I don't get into the waterline because I want that brightness still there. But I just want that bit of definition on the outer corner so that when it meets the outer corner of the top lid, it just looks super nice and cohesive. This eye look never gets old, you guys. I have worn this so many times. It's my go-to glam look for sure. I'm gonna go back into the mascara and apply this to the lower lashes. Again, being careful not to get it into the waterline too much, while also trying to get it as close to the waterline as possible to create that really crisp line. I love this mascara. My goodness, every time I use it, I just love that you get definition, but it's not as stark as a black mascara. I mean, seriously though, how stunning is that eye look? And also, how expensive does it look? Doesn't it look super expensive? These 3 products, I'm telling you guys, if you've never tried them or if you've never tried them together, you just have to. They're so good. Okay, we're gonna move on to, what's next? Bronzer. So now I'm gonna take my favorite bronzer from Colourpop. This is the Colourpop Pressed Powder Bronzer in the shade Coconut Beach. It's pretty pigmented, so I'm just gonna start building this up with a really light hand and circular motions all over the cheeks, just to warm up the complexion. I'm of course warming up the cheeks, and then I go into the hairline and forehead. For blush, I'm gonna take this Colourpop blush called Coast to Coast. It's a really pretty mauve tone, which I thought would be nice with this more cool toned eye look. So I'm just gonna smile and apply this to the apples of the cheeks. The other thing I really like about this eyeshadow palette is I've worn it with both more warm tone blushes and cool tone blushes. So I've worn this eye look with more of a peachy tone blush, and then I've also tried it obviously with this one before as well. This is leaning a little bit more mauve-y and slightly more pink and cool toned, and I truly feel like because it's not too cool of an eye, it's more neutral, you can really complete the look leaning a little more cool toned or leaning a little more warm tone on the cheeks and lips, just depending on how you're feeling. So that's really nice about this eyeshadow palette too. It pairs with other colors really easily. Let's do highlighter and then we'll move on to lips. So of course, I'm gonna take my favorite Colourpop highlighter. This is the Super Shock Cheek in the shade Lunch Money. I'm just gonna use my finger to dip into this and then just apply it right on the very high points of the face. I've also applied this with a sponge before. You can do it either way. This gives such a beautiful lit from within glow. It does not have glitter in it. It just melts into the complexion so beautifully. I'm obsessed with this. I mean, I've used this for so long, and I know so many of you guys love this as well. It's a classic. I'm also gonna take a bit down the center of the nose and on the Cupid's bow. While we're at it, I'm just gonna apply a little bit right on top of the brow, on the forehead, so that when I turn my head, there's kind of a little bit of a glistening effect there. All right, now I'm going to wipe off any foundation that's on the lips. For lips, I'm gonna use, of course, the lip gloss that I picked for my bundle, the So Juicy Plumping Gloss in the shade She's Here. The reason why I chose this particular gloss is I feel like it's one of those chameleon glosses where you can pair it with any lip liner, apply this in the center, and it's just gonna mesh into any color so beautifully. This is also gonna be a really easy foolproof color for anybody, whether you just wanna throw this in your purse like I do and wear it every day, or wear it with a more glam look like I'm gonna show you right now. Actually, before I forget, I'm gonna quickly apply a little bit of highlighter to the inner corner of my eye, just using that same Super Shock highlighter in the shade Lunch Money. If you're following along, just use whatever highlighter you used on your face, and that'll really help tie in the look. All right, let's move back to lips. If you want my personal recommendations for a lip liner that I personally really love using with the So Juicy gloss, I have 2 options. The first one is also a classic. I'm sure so many of you guys have this. This is the Colourpop Lippy Pencil in the shade BFF. This one is a gorgeous kind of nudie pink, and honestly, I feel like it's almost a perfect match for the gloss. So there's BFF right here. I also love Cool BFF, which launched with the That's Taupe collection. This is a similar idea, but it's slightly more cool toned. Here's Cool BFF right there. So either of these look amazing in my opinion, but because the gloss does morph to the lip liner, this one's a bit more warm toned, this one's a bit more cool toned. So when I go with more of a peachy blush, I like to use this one. When I go with something a little more cool toned like this mauve blush, I like to go with the Cool BFF. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply this, and I'm just gonna line the outer portions of the lips first. And then I am going to fill it in slightly, but I do like to leave a bit of the center of the lips bare. I just find that helps the gloss blend into everything a lot easier. Again, if you're following along, use whatever lip liner you personally love, whatever lip liner is your favorite, like nude lip liner, anything will work with this gloss. So now let's go into the gloss. Here's what it looks like. I love the packaging of these glosses. And I'm just going to apply this directly out of the tube, right onto the lips. I find that this gloss layers really beautifully. If you don't want too much, you can either apply it and then blot it off a little bit, or just take a tiny bit on your fingertips and kind of blend it out that way. See what I mean though? It just meshed right into the lip liner. I think it looks so pretty, and it does give that slight tingling sensation that plumping glosses give. I personally love that. All right, we're gonna assess the situation. I, of course, am going to take the bronzer brush and just add a bit more to the forehead. I'm also going to touch up the brows a little bit with my Thrive pencil. Okay, brows look good. I'm just gonna add a bit more blush, just with what's left on the brush. Okay, everything looks nice and balanced, so we're gonna go in with my last step, which I knew this was the first product that I chose for the bundle because it's my favorite product from Colourpop, honestly. Like, I feel like brown mascara and setting spray are some of the most underrated products in a routine. So if you pick up my bundle, you will be getting a travel size version of the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Setting Mist, the best setting mist ever. And I made sure to verify and test for myself that the applicator on this is the same as the full size, because that's one of my favorite parts about this product is how fine the mist is, and I'm happy to report that this is going to give you that gorgeous fine mist that the full size gives. Oh, you can't even see it. That's how fine it is. I'm going to go ahead and mist the entire face with this. Goodness gracious, I'm obsessed with this stuff. I can't get enough, honestly, truly. I'm gonna take my fan and just let that dry down a bit. I love how this is a hydrating formula, so even if you're doing a little bit more of a full glam look like I'm doing today, using a setting spray at the end, especially this one, literally, I mean, I don't even have to tell you guys, you can see it in my skin. It just makes everything look so extremely natural. That's my goal at the end of the day with any makeup look, whether it's glam or natural for every day. I don't ever want it to look like it's not a part of me. And so setting spray is literally my secret to making sure my complexion products look incredible and that it almost fools everybody to thinking that this is my skin that looks this good. Maybe just a couple more sprays for good luck. I love this stuff so much. And it smells amazing too. It's my favorite, you guys. I could talk for like 30 minutes about this product alone, but I won't bore you because I know if you've been with me for a while, you have seen that product time and time again on my channel, and you already know how much I love it. Because I can't live without a brow gel, I am going to set the brows with my Benefit Brow Setter to complete the look. All right, you guys, so that completes this look using my Colourpop Naturally Glam bundle. I still cannot believe that I got this opportunity, and it's all because of you guys. So seriously, thank you so much for making this whole thing possible. I still am pinching myself. So yeah, if you guys want to check out the bundle, it'll be linked down below. Again, it will already be discounted, so you won't need to use a code. And again, if you're wanting to try any of these other products that I showed you guys today, like the blush, the bronzer, the lip liners, I will have those linked down below as well. And you can still use the code Allie on those products at checkout if you do want to add something else to complete this look. But I am confident in the Naturally Glam bundle that if you do pick this up, you will be able to create a full eye look and a gorgeous lip look using this. It is truly a bundle that I stand behind 1000%. Obviously, I would not put these products in here if I didn't love them and use them regularly in my normal life and then here on camera as well. It makes me so giddy. I'm so excited about it. So again, it will be linked down below if you want to check it out. If you are new here, hi, my name is Allie and I would love for you to join the family. You can do so by hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber but you want to be notified on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, click on the bell after you subscribe and you'll get a notification every single time I post. What a fun video to film, folks. This is definitely one of the most memorable videos that I have filmed to date. So yeah, I'm just so grateful. I truly hope you guys love this bundle as much as I do. I hope you have an amazing day wherever you are, and I will see you in my next video. Love you. Bye.